Hey guys, welcome back to the Averity Insurance Podcast, episode 5. It's been the past few weeks that we've actually done this episode, or the new episode rather. But today's topic, we want to go ahead and dive into building confidence as a new insurance agent. So I don't know if you want to start off.
Yeah. Hi guys. I think this topic is so important, especially when you're new to the insurance industry. Everybody thinks, oh, it's insurance, it's easy. It's not easy at all because you're talking to people. It's a people's business. Mm-hmm. Like how good as you are is how good your business is going to go. Very similar to real estate in the sense of like, you got to be good at sales. You got to be good at talking to people, persuasion, everything like that.
And really every entrepreneurship, I think anyone can grab from here, right?
100%.
Because especially when you're starting off in a new business, you don't know anything. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, maybe you might be really good at something, but when it comes to speaking to people, it's a whole new topic, right? Yeah. So when it comes to building confidence as an insurance agent, what you really want to do is, know your product. There's nothing wrong with that. You could do a lot of product training, and you could do a lot of role play and stuff like that. But if you don't get out there and you put in the reps that you need to be doing, you're really not going to learn anything. And I think I can speak on my past experience. When I first started, how was I? I was
super shy.
Very, very shy. I was timid. I didn't want to talk to people. I was like, hello, hi, did you ask for insurance? No. Like, that was how I was. Yeah. So I didn't break through that until I came to a realization that I needed to put in more reps and get more comfortable with getting no's, with eventually finding that yes,
with who you are as a person. Who I am
as a person. Everybody has their own selling style. You always say, you have a different voice when you're speaking to clients, right?
100%. My selling voice or my client voice, I always tell the new agents, like, I go up an octave. Like this octave that you hear me right now is my day-to-day octave. But when I'm on the phone, I'm like, hi, how are you? It literally goes up because that's my selling practice. I feel like that's what works for me. But what works for me might not be the same thing that works for you. But I feel like at the end of the day, what you're saying is true, is it all kind of boils down to that fear of rejection, which is what most people are scared of, especially when they're starting sales. When a client tells you no, at the end of the day, it feels like rejection. Mm-hmm. It feels like you just asked someone on a date and they told you no. Like it's the same sting of like, I'm not good enough. And when you kind of flip that script of like, it's literally nothing personal. It's not you. It's literally the person, whether it may be their financial resources, whether it may be that maybe you didn't explain yourself well enough.
Or maybe you over-explained.
Or maybe you over-explained, 100%.
What else?
I feel like it's a matter of fine-tuning the technique and getting better every day and getting over that fear of rejection.
Right. And like I mentioned earlier, you can know all the products through the ins and outs, any underwriting question that you might have, any exclusions.
Yeah.
But people are always going to have one question that you don't have the answer to. And what we always say to our agents, at least, is like, don't say that you don't know, rather like, okay, hey, that's a really good question. Let me write that down, let me jot that down, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Right. That's a much better response than saying,
oh, I really don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like it doesn't, when you say you don't know, it looks unprofessional.
And you're losing credibility.
You don't know, exactly, you're losing credibility. And as far as like, on a cold call, it might be a little bit different because you're not face-to-face with the person, but imagine when you're actually at one of these tabletops or an event and someone comes up to you and asks you a question. Yeah. Hey, that's a really good question. If you want, leave your information, leave your first name, your email, your phone number, and then I can give you a call with the answer to your question as soon as I can, as soon as I get it.
Yeah. I've even used the one that's like, that's a great question. Nobody's ever actually asked me that before, but I'm going to find out for you and I'll get back to you.
Right.
So it's a much more reassuring. I'm reassuring the person that maybe I don't have the answer right now, but I will get it for you.
Right.
And it makes you look more trustworthy and credible.
Right. And something that I was speaking about with an agent earlier, it was, what was it again? Se me fue.
No worries.
Se me fue.
But
something that I was speaking about with them earlier was like, you might not know the answer now. That's where I was going. You might not know the answer now, but once you do have the answer, you'll never forget that answer. Yeah. And then you just, the same question will come about later on another time, and you already know how to come with a response to that. There's always going to be, even to this day, I've been 5 years, she's been 6 years, and you still learn every single day in this industry.
Every day. And I feel like a lot of people, when they're starting something new, especially in sales, they do get overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, I have to learn the product in and out. I have to memorize, all the details, all the benefits. And they spend weeks learning product, but when they start selling, they're like blank.
Right.
They're not doing anything because their sales game is off.
Right.
Their sales game is off.
Yeah, they have all the product knowledge that they need.
All the product knowledge.
Like, they know the ins and outs of the product,
but what good is all the product knowledge if you don't know how to talk to somebody?
Maneuver it or handle objections or any of that stuff. So, I mean, it all turns back down to what are you doing throughout your day, realistically speaking, throughout your day, that are putting in those reps. And then what I like to look at it, at least, is what's going to produce you income, right? So you don't want to spend the most perfect hours that you need to be calling people studying a product. Learning the ins and outs of a product. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be making the calls. You should be going out canvassing. You should follow up on leads. Go make connections at doctors' offices.
Post on social media.
That social media is a free tool. So why aren't you doing that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of using that time to study, use that time to put in your reps and get as many no's as possible.
100%.
And that's something that worked with one of our agents this past month. He hit his fast track. I told him, get as many no's as possible. As many no's as possible. I promise you that the more no's you get, the closer you are to your yes.
100%.
And look how it turned out for him. He sold $12,000 in 1 month through our supplemental insurance. And
for those insurance agents that are probably listening, that's not in life insurance. If it was life insurance, it probably would have been more. But that's supplemental indemnity, which is what we like to call the gap insurance for health insurance. So 12,000 APs in 1 month is a really good month. It's a good sale. It's a good commission. And I mean, I think you're totally right. Those studying hours, the product knowledge, those are things that have to be done in your off time, while you're late at night, when you're not making calls, early in the morning, 6 a.m., maybe get on the gym, when you're at the gym, get on the treadmill, listen to product knowledge, or your off hours when you're not supposed to be calling, like you said.
Use the weekends, whatever you want to do. You schedule your week however you want to. Right. I mean, this is just a recommendation from us, but you can do it however you want. If you feel like Mondays are your best day, then do it on Mondays. If you want to do it on the weekends, do it on the weekends. If you think Friday is easier because Fridays tend to be slower, that also works too. However you want to design it, that's all up to you at the end of the day.
Right,
that's
but like if statistics show that 90% of sales are made between, 4 to 8 p.m. because that's when clients are out of work and available. Why would you be studying at that point? At that point, you're burning daylight.
Exactly. That's what I meant, yeah.
So it's all a matter of, number one, knowing what to prioritize. And one of the things that we always tell our new agents is to read Sell or Be Sold, right? That's the book that really changed my mind on sales as a whole, because one of the things that Grant Cardone says in the book is, everything that we do every single day is sales. Is sales. In order for me to go out with you on a date, you had to sell me, or you literally had to sell yourself to me. I had to buy, not physically, but metaphorically, I had to buy you.
Right.
In order for us to get married, that's a sales pitch. You have to sell yourself the last 6 years of our relationship. In order for us to, whenever you go interview for a job, you're selling yourself to the recruiter. Whenever you are any type of situation where you are trying to persuade the other person of doing something, you're essentially selling yourself, selling something. And honestly, on a regular basis, like, you sell yourself, you sell things of other companies, maybe unknowingly, all the time. Like, if I take this drink and I'm like, hey, this is so good, like, you need to try it, I'm literally selling this drink. So it's a matter of reframing the way that you might look at sales and getting over that fear. Sales might be hard. 100% is not easy. It's not for the weak, but it's not rocket science. It's not something to be scared of. When you lean into it and you embrace the potential that sales can actually bring you, I feel like it's transformative. 100%.
Yeah. No, I mean, for the most part, at least for us, it's changed our lives completely.
And that goes for any type of sales, really.
It goes for anything. Like we started when we started the podcast, and that can be anything. Whether you're a barber, whether you're a real estate agent, you're selling yourself to people.
You're selling yourself,
and you have to put yourself out there because no one knows what you're doing in the beginning.
Yeah.
It isn't until when you start having a good, clientele that people start referring you and telling you, hey, look, this guy's really good, or this girl is really good, and then they start coming in little by little.
Yeah.
And once again, running back to the topic of this podcast, building that confidence, you just got to go out there and do it. Put in those reps, make those calls. Get those rejections, as many rejections as possible, and then go learning little by little, because then by the time that you know it, that you're getting another objection, you already know what else to say after that. You want to add anything else?
I remember when you first started, you were just so scared of putting yourself out there, and we started at 2 different points. I started first, and the business really kicked off for me, and that's when Lewis came in. So he saw me and my lifestyle, and he wanted to live my lifestyle, but I was like, you haven't, I don't want to say eaten dirt, but it's comerte la calle.
You haven't done.
How do you say comerte la calle in English? It's like eat in the street. You haven't eaten the street like I have. Like I've been through the mud for lack of a better word. I've been through the mud. It's your turn to go through the mud. Go out there and go find your clients.
Right.
And he would call me and he'd be like, I'm literally just nervous. Like I'm nervous to go into the store. I'm nervous to go present myself. I'm nervous to go talk to these people. And in my head, since I had already overcame the fear, for me, it was like really natural. I'm like, what are you waiting for? Like, just do it. Like, what are you so nervous about? Just do it. But it all just goes back to that source of being scared of rejection. Once you can manage of getting, like, who cares if they say no? Life is going to move on, whether they say yes, whether they say no, life is going to keep flowing. Like, what's the worst thing that they say no to you and they go buy from someone else? All right, it is what it is. You learned from the experience. But it's more so of looking at every no, like you said, looking at every no as a learning experience rather than looking at it like rejection. It's all perspective. Realistically, it's all perspective.
And also, running back to what you were saying about the sales book, you could read all these books, but if you don't apply any of it, you're not doing anything. So whatever book you read, whether it be Sell or Be Sold, I don't know what's another one, the 10X Rule, like any of these sales books, Psychology of Selling, any of those books that you read, if you're not applying the actual methods to your business, whether it's insurance, real estate, barber, whatever it is, nail lady, if you're not applying it, you're not gonna really reap the benefits out of reading a book.
Right.
You can read all the books in the world, but if you're not doing what you need to be doing, then you're not.
Yeah, I want to drop some gems. Some of the ones that we were talking about. We recently gave a training to our team of agents of like how to improve their sales. So some sales tactics that we had researched that we learned from these books is, for example, the assumptive close. What's an assumptive close? You're already assuming that the client's going to close. So after you give your speech, after you give your presentation, whatever it is that you're selling. So when do you want to book? Or so when do you want to schedule? So let me get your account in writing so we can get the policy
What's
going.
the bank that you use?
What's the bank that you use? Like, that assumptive close, that it's already closed. I just need your information.
Exactly.
So that's a closing method that people have. When you give people the opportunity to say no, that opportunity is for them to say no is higher.
Right.
So eliminating that space of there's no option here, this is closed, that helps you tremendously. And that again works for every type of sale. And I like what you said earlier about whether you're a barber, whether you're a nail tech. All these people, technically they're selling a service, but they're selling their work, they're selling their talent. Because nobody's gonna go to a nail tech if she sucks. No one's gonna go to a barber if he's lining up people sideways. Like, they are selling their work. So they have their pages, they have their flyers, whatever they do to promote themselves, but they're selling. Anybody who is essentially rendering a service is sales.
Yeah.
100%.
No, and like you mentioned earlier, everything, whether you like it or not, you're selling yourself to something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
If you're single right now, you're selling yourself to find a date.
Yeah.
And if you're even in a relationship, you're selling yourself every day to make sure your partner, your spouse doesn't leave you.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself to your in-laws. Make sure that they like you.
They like you.
So like, when you move into someplace new, you sell yourself to your neighbors. Oh, I hope they like me. I hope we all get along. When you start a new job, you're selling yourself to your coworkers. I hope they like me. I hope that it goes well. So like when you change the stigma of like, oh, sales is awful. When you think of sales, you think of like, I don't know, a douchebaggy car person or something, somebody selling cars. Those are supposedly the worst salesmen in the world, right?
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. And again, it is completely perspective. And when you become sure of like, yes, I'm selling, but like I'm also helping. Or yes, I'm selling, but I'm also educating. Or yes, I'm selling, but I'm helping my community. You're changing the stigma, and you're changing the way that you feel about it as well.
Right. And I think just going back to everything, is just when you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like sales.
Right.
And especially when you're helping people. You know, we've had multiple clients, you know, call us and tell us, hey, look, without your product, I don't know where I'd be today.
Yeah.
And when you get a call like that, or you get a text like that, that's like really fulfilling, at least for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But and you know, and the person watching this, find what you love to do, and make it into whatever you want, you know.
Yeah.
Again, everything is sales. You got to build that confidence with doing just more every single day, and then the job just gets easier.
Yeah.
You know.
One of the things that we always tell the new agents too is when you're first starting and you're learning your speech and you're learning your spiel, however it is that you present your product or whatever, record yourself, play it back, and ask yourself honestly, like, would you buy from you?
Ask your significant other, a friend, a family member, like, and just have them listen to the call.
Look in the mirror.
And look in the mirror, right? And just have them listen to it, and just tell them to give you feedback. What's some of the things that you could change?
Or ask your upline. If you're in insurance, you should have an upline who's technically like your mentor, who's kind of showing you the ropes. Ask your mentor to give you some positive feedback. And again, don't take it as criticism. Don't take it as hurt. If you're asking the right people, these are people that want to see you win and that want to, you know, do right by you. So they're going to give you those tips and those tricks that you want to know, you know.
Right.
But again, everything is starting from the bottom. I think that going into sales, even as an insurance agent or any type of sales, you just have to realize like you're starting from the bottom and embrace it because now we get to look back 6 years ago. You remember when we started and, you know, we were out there passing out flyers in the heat, you know, but those are the most beautiful memories to look back on and be like, damn, we did that.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through there. So when new agents come by and they give me these excuses, I'm like, man, we went through that. It is what it is. Like, embrace that process because, again, those are the memories that you're going to look back on and it's going to make you feel good about yourself and all the progress that you've made. And just even this topic got me thinking, like one of our close friends recently just opened her own aesthetic or is opening her own aesthetic clinic, and she's nervous finding new clients and things like that. That's sales. But I know she's going to do great because she has the personality for that. And she is passionate, so passionate about her craft that it shows. It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like sales. It feels like this is my passion. I get to help people. I get to help them feel beautiful. So it's going to excel. And when you have that passion, no matter what it is you're doing, no matter if you're doing eyebrows, if you're a barber, if you're selling, I don't know, solar panels, if you're selling cars, whatever it is that you feel passionate about, like give it that affection, give it that love, treat your business like your baby, treat your sales process like your baby, fine tune it no matter what it is. And it's going to keep getting better for you.
And then one last tip that I wanted to drop was, again, confidence is everything, right? And people can feel that whether you're on the phone or in person. And what I always tell all of our agents is that when you're cold calling, stand up straight and smile.
Yeah.
People can hear that through the phone. They can hear if you are down or if you are smiling. And then
that
also
works for in person too.
And yeah, that's where I was going. And in person as well, whether you're at a tabletop or you're canvassing in person, stand up with a straight posture and speak like, you know, clearly. When you're on the phone and you hear someone going like, and they're hunched over, you can hear it because their diaphragm is compressed. So they'll hear, hey, hi, how are you? My name is Lewis. And how does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds awful. Like, I don't want to speak to you.
Or you stand
I'm already
up straight. You stand up straight, you smile, hey, how's it going? My name is Lewis. I'm calling you from Averity Insurance. That one sounds much better.
Yeah, way better.
Someone calls me like that, I'll be like, all right, I'll give this guy the time of my day.
Yeah,
not some
it
guy
seems
that
nice. It's more welcoming. It's more kind.
Not someone that sounds miserable. So again, smile and stand up straight whenever you're in a tabletop, cold calling, canvassing, whatever it is, and trust me that those little tiny tricks those adjustments that you do are going to make a world of a difference.
They're going to make so much of a difference.
So thank you guys for coming to our 5th episode of Averity Insurance Podcast. We hope to see you at the next one. Make sure that you guys like, comment, subscribe. Anything else that you guys want us to speak about, make sure you leave it in the comments, and we're here for you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for tuning in.